Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Not Fade This podcast. My name is Joshua Reimer, joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Block. Jared, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, we got a busy day today. 8 games in the NBA. We have WBC finals tonight. We have March Madness starting to heat up, and then obviously
March
MLB
Madness
is
starts
just
tonight,
over a week away. Yeah,
technically.
it's an insane week. It's an insane day. Tuesdays are always busy for us anyway, considering the type of content that we put out. So, from what I can tell you initially, NBA is kind of a shit show today. Not surprising. We have 3 games, Josh, with moneyline favorites over 1,000. So that's where we're at right now. Lots of double-digit spreads, some injuries we got to cover. We'll find a way to get to like 3 or 5 actually really, really good spots. But yeah, it's kind of all over the place today.
Yeah, definitely all over the place. Had a really good night last night. Both of us did. Luca ended up absolutely balling out. Josh Giddey had you had him over 18 and a half. I think he got like 24 or no, I think he got like 28 rebounds and assists. Yeah, somewhere up there. And Wemby ended up falling short. Felt really disappointed there. I was between him and Darius Garland. I was talking about with Jared after the show. Just went the wrong way there. That's my fault. But still was a really good night overall. Yeah, excited for today's, well, as excited as you can be for a slate like today. All right, let's get into it. Let's start out the show like we always do and talk about injuries. Jared, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about injuries. There's a few things that we can cover. I think initially we need to just announce that, Jalen Brunson's likely not going to play today. Miles McBride has been out, so we should see Jordan Clarkson step into a full-time role. How confident I feel in that is interesting conversation because he isn't playing that much right now. Tyler Kolek would be the backup point guard, and yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about the Knicks. They're going to come up in a couple of conversations today. From there, Giannis is questionable for the Bucks after he hyperextended his knee in the last game. He did not return from that injury, but returned to the bench. So will be interesting to see how that goes. Miles Turner and Ryan Rollins are also questionable. Usman Jang is also another Buck that's questionable. So lots going on in Milwaukee. We know that the Pacers put out the most ridiculous injury report of the season. I don't know if you saw it, but it's like they listed like 10 guys questionable. So at this point of the season, we should never expect the Pacers to put out more than like 3 guys to actually play in these games. So keep an eye on that. I don't think they'll come up in any conversation because they have the lowest implied team total on the slate. Bam Adebayo is doubtful. That's interesting for some Miami guys in what is kind of a weird spot against Charlotte. Pascal Siakam is the only doubtful guy on that Pacers questionable situation. And we know that Devin Vassell got ruled out for the Spurs. We shouldn't be surprised if maybe Wemby gets a night off or something else happens in what is expected to be a lopsided game. Anything else I missed? I think that's the main stuff. Giannis is the main questionable tag today.
Yeah, a lot of Washington guys are out, but it's kind of just our
Yeah.
usual suspects: AD, Kaishawn George, D'Angelo Russell, Alex Sarr, Trey Young. Bilal Coulibaly's one of those guys that's been playing a lot, but he's out today, along with Leaky Black too. So maybe opens up some interesting stuff for Washington. But that I think that game has the highest spread on the slate, so maybe not a whole lot to look out there. Ants out. Did you mention Edwards
Oh
being
no,
out?
I did not. I did not.
Edwards being out. Grayson Allen on the other side for Phoenix is doubtful today, along with Dylan Brooks still being out and Mark Williams still being out. So that Phoenix-Minnesota game should be very interesting. I'm surprised Minnesota's still a favorite with no Edwards. That seems intriguing, right? Anyway, I'm sure we'll get to it as we get a little bit more down the road here. All right, Jared, anything else here? If not, let's head over to highest implied totals.
Should at least mention that Philly's just got everybody out again. It's not going to be anything that's different from the other couple days. Grayson Allen also a doubtful tag for Phoenix. I guess we'll see how they shift that around. But yeah, this slate's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, certainly is. Let's get the highest implied totals, Jared. Talk about some of these top matchups for teams. And our highest implied total today is going to be the Detroit Pistons. They are at 126.25. They are 19.5 point favorites. Over under here is at 232.5. Give me your thoughts on the Pistons here as they face off against the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, not only 20-point favorites in general, but 19.5 point favorites on the road. So with that said, the implied total stuff looks great. The pace up spot looks great. The defensive matchup looks great. The problem is that I just don't know how comfortable we feel with rostering these guys in a spot where they could win by they truly could win by 40 points. I think that when we look at this situation, we have enough of a sample size to see how guys like Cade and guys like Duran do in games where they've won by double-digit points, in games where they've won by 20 plus. I think that it gets a little bit more tricky. Cunningham has recorded 16 plus rebounds and assists in 7 of 8 games this year where they have won by double-digit points on the road. That made the props.cash blog today. It's a really, really good spot for Duran in the restricted area. Like, you can name, like, left and right, you can name good spots for basically everybody. It's just like you're just, kind of in a race against time. So give me your thoughts on, like, do you want to trust this today in a mid-March situation? Like, I couldn't be further off the spot.
I will say that, like, overall, it's pretty unenticing. I do like this spot for Cade. You already mentioned the rebound plus assist market. This is something that I kind of honed in on earlier in the weekend, was that he's had a bunch of assists recently in these games where they win by 15 or more. In games where they win by 15 plus, he has had 13 plus assists in 5 straight games, Jared. That's pretty impressive. His odds to get 13 plus assists tonight is like plus 250. So I really like the spot for Cade, whether you want to take him at a baseline or you want to take him at an alt market. I think Cade assists makes a lot of sense. He just tends to pass the ball a lot in these situations. Lets everyone get a taste of the pie, I guess. Rebounds and assists is definitely a solid market for Cade as well. But yeah, the Cade spot's the only thing I have really any interest in. That could go south really quickly too. I will say that. Like, yep. Sure, prop or trend wise, it looks really good, and I'm definitely buying into the trend overall because it makes sense. But like, it's probably not top play of the day type stuff right there.
Yeah, it's just a scary situation. I don't know. Like,
then again, maybe it is top play of the day because the whole slate's kind of meh at the end of it. So
yeah, like I said, I kind of incorrectly said it, but there are 3 teams today that are minus 1,000 favorites or more, and Detroit is like a minus 3,000 road favorite or something like that. I don't know, like SGP stuff. Like, if the game stays close, I like Duncan Robinson from 3-point range as well. Like, I don't know, man. This gets really tough. We've seen a lot of the situations recently where Duran's been in really good spots and they've been double-digit favorites and starts out well and then fizzles out. So mid-March, I just feel like, again, I'd rather just take other things.
Certainly don't blame you for that. All right, let's head over to our next team who has the second highest implied team total today. That belongs to the Denver Nuggets with a 125.75 implied team total. They're 15.5 point favorites, over-unders at 236.5. They're facing off against the 76ers here. Give me your thoughts on Denver.
Yeah, we kind of expected this coming in. They had the highest implied team total ahead of time when things opened, and then, Philly rules everybody out, and it's one of those situations where I don't expect this one to stay close again, which is going to be a theme today. We also know that in these situations, like, this is a really good pace-up spot against Philly. We know that the defensive rating just isn't there right now. We know that they're allowing a ton of stuff to the power forward position, so that makes things quite interesting for Gordon. We just know that this team is a bad restricted area defense and a very bad above the break defense, so you can kind of just name whichever guy you want. Like, Jamal's going to be in a good 3-point spot, so is Tim Hardaway. And Joker just continues to do everything, right? Like, he's had 25 plus rebounds and assists in 4 straight games. Philly's done extremely, extremely bad in terms of DVP to that rebound and assist category against centers recently. I just feel like Joker could have a triple-double by the third quarter, and we shouldn't be shocked about it.
Yep, for sure. Can certainly get behind that. Not a whole lot to talk about here without me just echoing you. So kind of agree with all your sentiments, and we can keep on moving on into the next team if you're ready to.
I should say, like, Cam Johnson's kind of stepped up too recently. Not like hottest shooter level, but it does make sense in a spot where he should get a lot of 3-point attempts.
For sure. All right, let's head over to our third highest implied team total, which belongs to the San Antonio Spurs. They're at 125 for their implied team total. They're 13.5 point favorites. Over-under here is at 236. They're facing off against the Sacramento Kings. Give me your thoughts. What do you like about the Spurs? What do you not like about the Spurs?
Yep, third team we're talking about, third situation where they're double-digit favorites here. So, with that said, this is going to be a glorious matchup, as the other two basically have said the same thing. Pace up spot, really good in terms of defensive rating matchup. I do think that point guards have just crushed this team, and we've targeted that, and we've kind of harped on that religiously over the past 2 weeks of these shows. So I like the spot for Fox again. Castle's been really good. He made the blog, the Prop.Cash blog, in terms of his rebounds and assists recently. He's taken a step up in that direction. We just found out that Devin Vassell's out. We know that Dylan Harper and Luke Cornett are currently questionable. With that said, maybe we get some more Julian Champagny. Maybe Harrison Barnes slides in there. Who do you think starts? Because we've already seen Julian Champagny starting recently. So who do you think takes over the Devin Vassell role?
I think it's probably Keldon Johnson. I would think. I don't know who else they throw in there.
Yeah, they kind of they've taken a step back in terms of the Barnes stuff recently.
I was gonna say maybe they give Barnes another. Maybe this is their shot to give Barnes another chance. But like, if they keep going with the current rotations that they've been rolling out there, then it probably just fills into Keldon Johnson being in the starting lineup.
Yeah, it's kind of intriguing. He's been on a rebound kick recently. Yeah, another situation where like things can get out of hand very quickly. And that's kind of what you need games to stay close in order for Wemby to hit these monstrous fantasy point numbers. We'll say that he's done consistently well from a blocks angle too. We don't talk about that a lot, but I've been on this kick recently where I continue to look for that. He's had 4+ blocks in 8 of the past 10 games. So, like, how predictable is that as a 13-point road favorite? Not sure. But yeah, another situation where like things get iffy by the fourth quarter.
For sure. Just clicking through some stuff on Props.Cash as we go along here. You want to know how many games Julian Champagny has surpassed his points line on 0 days rest this season?
The way you phrase that makes it seem like he's done it like in all games this year.
Basically, 10 out of 13. He has had 11 plus points this season, Jared, on games where he's played in a back-to-back. That's pretty impressive. And the only reason I was kind of just diving deep into like Champagny and some of the other role players, everyone else has done incredibly poor on these back-to-backs. Wemby has done poor. Yeah. Castle has done poorly. De'Aaron Fox has done especially poorly. I think De'Aaron Fox is the one who hasn't done it like once this season. So definitely makes for some interesting stuff there. All right. Anything else here, Jared? If not, we can head over to Hottest Shooter.
No, let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's go over to Hottest Shooter. Jared, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go for this one?
I actually think I'll stay in that game because it's a name we haven't brought up in probably over a month because he's lost his role, and even with all these guys out on his team, he's just not doing anything, and they've just kind of given up on the year. It's DeMar DeRozan, who has scored 27+ points in 3 straight games. On top of that, we've known that we can exploit wings against San Antonio this year, especially in the mid-range. He has scored 20+ points in 9 straight games against San Antonio, who he used to play for. So that was the biggest trend I saw on today's slate in terms of longevity. But yeah, recently, like he had this stretch of 10 games, 15 games where he just did nothing, and now he's scoring 25+ points in like 3 straight. So it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely encouraging to see him pick it up a little bit. Like you said, he also always comes out to compete against against the San Antonio team, excuse me. Yeah, can definitely get behind that. I will bring up the spot for Devin Booker, who has been absolutely frying recently. 7 straight games with 27+ points. It's something we took advantage of over the weekend. He ended up coming through for us when he played against the Raptors. Had a huge game last night against Boston where he was able to put up 40. Yeah, it's been Devin Booker's world, and we've just been living in it. It's been a lot of fun to see him kind of come back to the team. He started out pretty slow after the injury, but it seems like he's fully picked it up, and it's back to being Devin Booker's team. So, fun spot. Pretty good matchup against Minnesota, especially without, well, I don't know, maybe they throw Jaden on him, but like overall, I don't think the matchup is all that bad as people might make it out to be.
No, they've had a point guard issue. It might be brought up in round table, but yeah, Minnesota has struggled against point guards.
And I think Booker's more the point guard than anyone else. At least that's what it feels like nowadays.
Like I said, I think yesterday. Was it yesterday's show?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, Jalen Green and Devin Booker have like taken over the Gillespie, Grayson Allen stuff. So it's pretty clear that that's the situation now.
Yeah, Gillespie kind of just fades into the background as a 3-and-D-esque player. All right, who else you got, Jared?
We'll just mention that if he plays, this is a good spot for Giannis. I do think that without Jared Allen, there's not much competition in terms of slowing him down in the restricted area. He has scored 30-plus points in back-to-back games, and Milwaukee is at this point, I'm sure, there's like 10 to 12 games left. They're at this point where, it might even be smaller than that, but they're at this point where like they have to either win 7 of their next 10 games or they just tank the rest of the year. So I don't even know if we see Giannis today, but I'm saying like keep an eye on him because if he does play, 30-plus points feels like a really strong situation.
Yeah, you can certainly get behind that. I will bring up LaMelo, but from a three-pointer stance. We have seen him absolutely cashing in on threes recently. He's had 4+ threes in 7 out of the last 10 games. This is a pretty good matchup against Miami, too, where you can shoot the three pretty well. At least guards and small forwards can. I like the LaMelo ball spot. You got anything else for us, Jared? If not, we'll move right along the round table.
I have one more thing, and it's not even like hottest shooter, but this guy has done really well in. You want to actually let's just play a quick game here.
Fun.
Out of all of the Minnesota Timberwolves, we've seen 10 games of no Ant this year. Can you tell me the 3 players that have done the best without him on the floor?
Oh man, I would assume because I feel like we've talked about this before. Isn't Randall like the main guy that does really well without
He's
Ant?
one. Yep.
I'll guess is DiVincenzo one of them?
That's 2.
Is Jaden
probably
McDaniels the other?
It's like a split between McDaniels and Naz Reid.
Okay, that makes sense
Nas,
actually.
Specifically, Nas has recorded 24-plus PRA in 7 straight games without Ant this year. That's 8 out of 10 on the season. McDaniels has 22-plus PRA in 9 out of 10 games without Ant as well. I think these lines are a little bit deflated just because of the pace down matchup against Phoenix. So keep that in mind. But yeah, Reed, DiVincenzo, McDaniels, Randall, they've kind of all been extremely consistent at their current markets. Not sure where they'll end up today when all said and done, but yeah, it's kind of what, like, we have a really strong sample size of what this looks like without Ant.
For sure. All right, anything else here, Jared? If not, we'll head over to round table.
Nope, we can head over.
For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I bring some of our top plays to the table. These plays are in specific statistical categories, and those categories are points, rebounds, and assists. Jared, we start out with points like we always do, and I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm a bit conflicted because I think this works for both players here, but I think I will side with Donovan Mitchell, who walks into a really, really strong matchup. Like, we've been able to target scoring guards against Milwaukee all season. And lately, just specifically since the All-Star break, they have been one of the worst above-the-break scoring defenses in the league. And DVP says this extremely over the last 7 games where they've allowed the 3rd most points to shooting guards. I do think that the spot applies to Harden, too, to a certain degree, as like they've allowed the 2nd most threes to both of the guard positions over the last 7 games. But we'll focus on Mitchell for this one. I do think Harden threes is also in play, but yeah, both are really in good spots here.
For sure, can certainly get behind that. For me, I'm going to go to this spot for Miles Bridges. It is kind of hard to talk about this Hornets team as a whole right now with how healthy they are. But this is a very good spot for Bridges. Miami's main weaknesses have been against the power forward and center position over these last 7 games. They've allowed the 5th most points to power forwards, the 6th most points to centers. Miles Bridges has shown this with historical dominance too. Against this team, he has had 16 plus points in 7 out of 9 games he's played against them. I really like the Bridges matchup. I think it makes a lot of sense. He has been kind of iffy scoring recently, but we've seen back-to-back games where he's put up 20 plus points. Bridges overall feels like a solid play here.
That's what sold me. I was trying to figure out what to do with Charlotte, and the spot kind of applied to Diabate as well, though he just like completely fallen off a cliff from a scoring angle. So that recent the recent urgency in scoring feels like Charlotte rides the hot hand. I feel like Bridges is the only really acceptable answer there.
Yep, for sure.
Rebounds, I'll go with Wendell Carter. I do think this is a strong spot. We've targeted this pretty much all season. Centers against OKC have rebounded very, very well. 3rd most to the position over the last 7 games. And Carter, while slightly inconsistent from that angle, I do think that he can get the job done today.
For sure. I can certainly get behind it. Trying to decide where I want to go.
Yeah. Do you
And
want to talk about Joker? Because I feel like that's like the hammer spot, but that could fall short because of the blowout.
I understand the Joker spot looks really solid. The only thing I worry about is I was just looking at this, and let me look at it again to make sure I don't talk out of my ass here. I think in games where he wins by 15 plus, yeah, he's done really poorly, at least at this number. He's only gone over 12 and a half in 4 out of the 12 games where they've won by 15 plus points. So, it's not a guarantee they won by 15 plus. Maybe they end up keeping it a little bit closer, but I feel like this is the game where they can win by 15 plus. Instead, I know the same thing kind of applies to Jalen Duren, but I like his rebounding chances a little bit more. I just feel like Washington doesn't really have anyone to throw at him with Sarr being out. So if it's going to be it's going to be Julian Reese, excuse me. Like, I think Duren can kind of dominate that matchup. So I'll go with Duren for rebounds here.
All right, we'll stick with the Detroit Pistons here. I like this trend quite a bit in this situation. In the 5 road games that Detroit has won by 10, Cade Cunningham has had 11 plus assists in 4 straight, and most of these are coming from the month of February. I'm gonna just zoom out a little bit more here because that was just the last 5 times that happened. He's had 10 assists or more in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 8 games in that situation. So, and then he had 9 in the one he missed. So it's going to be close. He's going to get that double-digit assist number in these situations. I do believe. So, yeah, I'll stick with Cade here.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I do really like the Cade assist spot. I'll go with De'Aaron Fox here. In games where they're off of a back-to-back, Fox has had 7 plus assists in 4 out of the last 5 games. I'm wondering how he does when they win by 15. Not that great, but still, I think this is a suitable spot for Fox. Sacramento's just allowing a bunch of assists to the point guard position, too, so that definitely helps my case. Yeah, we'll go with De'Aaron Fox here for this assist spot. All right, you got anything else for Roundtable? If not, we'll head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One.
I'm trying to talk myself into... So the DVP does not line up, so that's why I wouldn't make Roundtable, but I should at least mention that Tyler Hero has scored at a ridiculous clip without Bam this year. In the 4 games that Hero has played without Bam, he's scored 32 plus in 3 of 4 games, and that's like 8 higher than his actual market is today. The DVP is not going to line up well whatsoever. How do you feel about that? Do you just ride it?
I think you just ride it. Like, someone's got to score for them, right? Like, at the end, like, are you trusting, like, a Davion Mitchell? I mean, I guess you could trust a Norman Powell potentially, but I feel like the Tyler Hero spot's the best usage scorer at the very least. So I don't mind. How has he done historically against Charlotte?
Let's see.
Is there any success there? If there is, then
Tyler Hero against...
Oh, he did really well against them.
Charlotte.
Back on
Yeah.
what day is that? I can't read it. It's too tiny, but I think it was a day earlier in March. Yeah. And then a game earlier on in the season too. Or I think that's earlier on in the season. He had 29. That might have been last year. But still, this year, that was a really good scoring performance. And Bam was even in that game. Yeah, I can get behind Tyler Hero after seeing this. Dang, he almost had a triple-double that game. My goodness.
Yeah, he hit 8 threes in that game.
He cooked. I don't expect 8 threes from him tonight. But if he can just do half as well as 8 threes, I think we'll be feeling pretty solid about the play overall.
Yeah, one more thing on that front. He has averaged a 33% usage rate in the 4 games without Bam. He's played 37 minutes on average. Some of the three-point attempts stuff is off the charts. I guess that's matchup dependent, but I think I can talk myself into it. So not really a roundtable play, but something that has been, like, Wiggins out too. I feel like this is a spot we should go for.
For sure. All right. Anything else here? If not, we'll go over to Two Minds Are Better Than One.
I'll just tell you right now, let's just play some Tyler Hero scoring.
Let's do it. Let's head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I go back and forth, each of us selecting 2 player props each. We put those player props into a parlay with our goal of the parlay to have plus 100 to plus 150 odds. Hey, we won last night, Jared. We've been on a little bit of a dry streak with the podcast parlay. But glad to see us come through tonight, or last night, excuse me. Hopefully we can come through tonight. I'll let you go first. I have a feeling I know where you're going, but where do you want to go?
Yep, we're going with Hero. Probably can get it at 15. Feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, let's go 18. Well,
Okay.
we can go
I don't
15
care.
if you want. That's
I
fine.
think he scores 20 plus tonight. So
Yeah, we'll go. Let's go 15 here. I'm going to go to this spot before you conceal it from me. I'm going to go to Kate assists, and we will go with 8 plus.
okay, I going back and forth on this because I think it's actually kind of really important because I would flag plan something like this today. I think I'm going to end up siding with James Harden in terms of threes. We'll probably get 2 at a nice number. He's had 3 pretty consistently, like 7 out of the last 10. And then on top of that, the matchup is like the best 3-point spot on the slate. So while I do think it's Mitchell versus Harden in terms of that degree, like Harden has shown to be the better above the break shooter since the All-Star break on this team. So I'll take that.
For sure. Wait, did you say Donovan? I'm sorry. I was
No,
half
we're going to
listening.
go with Harden.
Harden. Okay. 3 plus work, or 2 plus work, excuse me?
2 plus works, yeah.
Perfect. And then I will end it all off with going with this Julius Randle spot. You already mentioned it. We didn't really mention it much outside of that brief mention there that he's done really well without Ant, especially this year. We've seen him do really well. Yeah, I will go with Randle for, let's go 30 plus PRA. Works out pretty well for the parlay as a whole. So altogether, we have Tyler Hero for 15 plus points, Cade for 8 plus assists, Harden for 2 plus threes, and Julius Randle for 30 plus PRA. Altogether gets us at plus 119. Not too shabby. All right, Jared, let's get out of here. Give me your final thoughts. What do the people need to know about tonight's slate?
Maybe you should just watch the WBC game. Because, like, we didn't have much to say about the highest implied team total stuff. Like, yes, all of those highest implied team total spots are tremendous. A lot of them are pace up. A lot of them are just glorious matchups in general. In baseball, we'd be celebrating. Like, this would be one of the best slates possible because we would, tons of spots to score runs, stuff like that. But things just fizzle out. And this is one of those slates where, like, do we want to try to, like, I think the Cade assist stuff is really strong, even despite the blowout, but do you want to rely on Joker getting there in 3 quarters? Those are really high markets. Like, we'll find a way. I think like the Harden stuff's fine. We didn't even mention that Cleveland's like a 10-point favorite and the Bucks are not competitive right now. So, like, I don't know. Like, that feels like it's kind of scary too. Lots of really iffy, this game could blow out scenarios today. That's kind of where I'll leave it.
Yeah, lots of spots where it feels pretty iffy to take anything from. So kind of have to approach the slate with caution. And I think you kind of would be smart to cross out some of these higher spread games. Like, I don't know. We talked about a lot of stuff from Detroit that seems like a lot of fun, but, like, do you really want to sweat that? Do you really want to sweat your players only playing 3 quarters? I'm not sure you necessarily do tonight. So definitely a lot of spots that feel like a bit of a head scratcher. And I don't know. It definitely could. Yesterday's slate was a lot better than today's. That's for sure.
Yeah, on top of that, Cleveland's an 11-point favorite right now on the road for what it's worth. So that kind of creeps into that. The Knicks, like, we didn't even talk about them without Brunson. Like, I do think Cat, Anunoby, Hart, like, we've posted trends and we've listed some stuff that seems extremely positive, but, like, Indiana could rule out 7 players and this turns into a 17-point home favorite spot for them. Interesting slate. Like, Phoenix, Minnesota is an extreme pace down slate, or pace down game, though, like, Ant's not playing, so things could look good for Minnesota in that regard. Every single game has an iffy situation. That's what I'll say. That's what we'll leave with today. That's why I said, like, play some stuff, play some alt lines, watch the baseball game. Go USA.
Play the baseball game. That's been a lot. It's been a lot more fun to bet on WBC than it has been to bet on NBA. That's for sure.
Yeah. While we leave that, what are your thoughts on Venezuela, United States tonight? Because we got to see Venezuela last night. We got to see US a couple days ago. How have you interpreted the last couple of games here?
Yeah, I feel like kind of like what they've said a lot on the broadcast is like USA's offense hasn't necessarily clicked. They're just playing really, really good defense right now.
Yep.
I think Noah McLean will be on an incredibly short leash tonight, so I'd be careful with K's or anything in that regard. I know BVP doesn't look great against Erod. I still don't really believe in Erod as a pitcher though, so like I would be willing to go to some of these bats, especially some of the righties. I feel like USA could be too lefty tonight, which could cause some problems. Like they're gonna feel a need to get Harper, Schwarber, Roman in there, Terang, like all those guys don't fall into great lineups, but Judge has been hitting at like a phenomenal clip. I know, I'm sure you watched the game against the Dominican Republic, but almost had that home run until J Rod robbed him.
Yep.
Had a single earlier in the game. Like he's looked really good. I like this spot quite a bit for Judge, and some other guys fit in well. So I'm excited. I cannot wait to watch tonight's game. Hopefully we
Yeah.
win.
I like the decision to start Terang. I think he's probably the best lefty in this spot in this matchup. In terms of that, like he has the best WRC plus against lefties that are currently lefties in this lineup right now. So I think that starting him over Gunnar is interesting, and you're not sitting Bregman for Gunnar in this matchup specifically. So will be interesting to see what Roman Anthony can do in his at bats. I feel like Bryce Harper. I talked him up on the NL East preview podcast as a guy that I think could like have a shot at an MVP. He has not proven that in the WBC whatsoever. He's been like the coldest hitter on that team. Um, this kind of just says like Judge 2 home run spot, right? Like on top of that too, like does BVP even matter in this situation in a
No,
game like in a winner take all?
we
You
saw
only
it
gonna
not
pitch
matter
like
against
three
Skeens.
three innings like
Yeah.
max, right? Like
Even the
I don't
Sevy
know.
stuff didn't really. I mean, like Gunnar got to him, which was like a big BVP play, but Roman
Yeah,
got
but
to him
Sevy
too.
looked pretty good. Like, Sevy looked pretty
Yeah.
good until
Well,
giving up those back-to-back situations. Like
that's because Sevy throws 92 in a regular season game, and he was throwing 99 in the DR game.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
get out of
like,
here.
I don't know. I tend to throw BVP out the window here. You're fighting for too many things to go right, and this is not an MLB situation, right? So like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think you're way more focused in this scenario on who's the hot hitter and who's not. And
Yeah.
it goes beyond like recency numbers. Like for example,
Sure.
like a lot of people will look at the Judge game or the last Judge game and say like, "Oh, it wasn't that great of a game going 1 for 4." But if you saw the hard contact that he had on that hit that J-Rod ended up robbing, like you know he's had a good rest of his WBC. And that applies to a few of these other guys too who have just gotten really unlucky with line drive hits. So yeah, I think you're more so looking at recent form, especially this early in the season. Bryce Harper did a really good job of talking about it, just saying like he hasn't found his swing yet, and that's kind of how it works. Spring training works for these big league guys. Is like they have to find their swing all over again once they get back into everything, and once they start getting in the groove. And if they don't have it, they don't have it. They still got to find it. So that's kind of what influences these hot and slow starts to the season for these guys.
There's also something to say about once the sixth inning comes into play. I'm not saying it's going to be Judge or Bobby or even Schwarber for that matter, but like, don't be surprised if you see a sub
Buxton
in a situation.
Is definitely
Yeah,
a
like,
guy I could see subbed.
definitely. Like
Anthony
as
as
good
well.
as Roman Anthony has been, like you're probably pinch hitting in that situation. I also
Yeah.
noticed that neither Contreras is playing or in the starting lineup for Venezuela, so like that's interesting too. You could see Bregman subbed against a righty. Like these, like Gunnar could replace Gunnar could replace Bregman late, and I wouldn't be surprised. They're going to play situation ball to win, and so, yeah, it'll be one where like maybe like I think it's fine to play beforehand, but like getting a vibe early and playing some live stuff could be interesting as well.
Yeah, for sure. I will also say that again, Noah McLean will have an incredibly short leash tonight. I feel pretty confident in that.
absolutely.
USA has everyone available to take him out. All of the bullpen guys, outside of Mason Miller, who I think is the only TBD guy. I think everyone
he's
else.
officially in, by the way.
There we go. So all the bullpen's good to go. They have a ridiculous set of arms back there that I think they're willing to trust in any one of them if McLean gets into a tight situation. So something to keep in mind when it comes to taking Ks or anything like that.
Yep. I think that's it. Like, it's gonna be fun. Like, what's the total's 8.5. I don't think that's moved much today. USA is a minus 265 home favorite. Um, yeah, I mean, I think if you are playing this, you should probably play it in the mindset that it will feel very similar to the DR game, where I just don't think that there's a lot of money coming in on the over of this one. I feel like that's very public. I feel like that's reactive, and I feel like a lot of degenerates are already hammered at St. Patrick's Day.
No.
I would not bet the over of this game, so
Yeah.
hopefully I don't look stupid.
Yeah, hopefully not. Or we'll make fun of you and laugh at you tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
or tomorrow
you know what?
afternoon, I guess.
By the time the game's on, hopefully I'll be where these St. Patrick's people are.
Hell yeah, there you go. All right, let's get out of here. Jared, any other thoughts?
If I were to if somebody asked me if they wanted to play NBA today, I'd say you should probably pay like 25% of your 25% of your daily bankroll, not the entire thing.
Yeah,
Um,
25%
yeah.
of what you play on a daily basis.
That's what I'm trying to say. This is a bad slate. We'll be very public about it and watch us go 4-0 in our top place today because of that.
Yeah, of course. That's how it always works out. All right, let's get out of here. Thank y'all for listening. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer, and we will see y'all tomorrow.